Greetings, my name is John Ruzek, and I'm the Senior Director of Alumni Networks for the University of Minnesota Alumni Association. Thank you for tuning in to this Alumni Career Profile, highlighting U of M alumni from different professions talking about their career paths and advice they'd share with students or fellow alumni. It is my pleasure to welcome today Raha. She is a great example of a three-time University of Minnesota alumna, both from undergrad, graduate, and PhD, who's gone on to do incredible things in the STEM arena. Her work at 3M focuses on using adhesives to keep planes together and protect them from environmental wear and tear. Previously, she worked in healthcare research at 3M, developing advanced wound care technologies and products. Raha has 3M patents pending and was the recipient of 2 innovation awards in 2015, including the prestigious 3M Circle of Technical Excellence. Raha, welcome to the program. Thank you for being here.
Hi, John. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, let's jump right in. Tell us about your career path as far as what led you to 3M and what you do on a day-to-day basis there at 3M.
Sure. Thank you for asking. So my current role at 3M is that I am a new product marketing supervisor for our aerospace division, and that is part of our industrial business group, which is the core of 3M. When I tell people what I do, I usually get quite a few puzzled looks because I actually have a PhD in molecular biology, and I did my thesis work in cancer genomics. And so when I graduated from graduate school and I was looking for positions primarily in academia, I started to realize that there's a lot of opportunity in industry here in Minneapolis. We're the medical device capital of the nation, as well as a huge hub of many Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies. So when I graduated from college, I was looking for opportunities, and I landed at 3M in their healthcare group. It's a really wonderful company that really invests in technology and R&D, and so that's where I started my career, and now I've ended up in doing new products with aerospace.
That's really fantastic. Just because as I've talked to graduate students, I've often heard that as far as when they're maybe not wanting to move into the academic route of their PhD, and then really thinking about how to transition into industry. That's often a big question that I've seen come up with PhDs as well. Was there any particular strategies that you took as far as kind of making that transition into industry, or any really good advice you received along the way as far as making that jump?
I think, John, you've made some excellent points. The transition isn't very easy. A lot of our training in graduate school is really directed at training our future faculty and professors for academic settings, but what people don't understand is that, or a lot of times is unclear in your training, is that a PhD is really a license to critically think, to be a learner. And what it demonstrates to people in industry, not only in academia but outside of academia, is that you're a person that can solve problems, you're a person that can find information, work on teams, collaborate, work on cross-functional teams, and these are hugely important no matter what arena that you work in. And when I was nearing the end of my graduate career and was really looking at different opportunities, I was evaluating postdoctoral opportunities as also teaching opportunities, I really leveraged my PI, my advisor, Dr. David Largaspada. Although he was a tenure-track professor, I think a lot of my graduate peers understood that our professors have a broader network outside of the academic arena. So I leveraged my professor. I was honest with him. I had some conversations with him, and we discussed my strengths and how we could leverage those moving forward in my career, and he connected me with a few people that he knew in industry. I had some really great conversations, and from then I developed a network of where I just had informational interviews, and those informational interviews led to 3 actual interviews with other companies outside of 3M, and then eventually led to my offer from 3M. So it's really about leveraging your network and looking into the tools that you already have and figuring out a different way to facilitate your future.
That's really excellent advice, just because whether undergrad or grad, I've often seen students don't think about building those networks until it's somewhat too late. So it's a really great example of how you've proactively built out that network. In your current position right now, what parts of the job would you say are most rewarding, and what are those that are most challenging?
I think there are challenges and rewards to any career that people will undertake and pursue. In industry, there are some challenges, as there are some challenges if you pursue your PhD and follow academia. But what I really love about 3M specifically is that our tagline is science applied to life. And it's not just a PR or a marketing move. It's truly how we function within 3M. And so my favorite part of my day is the fact that I get to work on technology. I get to work on real applications on how to impact people's lives. I'm not working on an abstract problem. I'm working on a real product. And I can go, in my previous position when I was in 3M Healthcare, I could go into a hospital and point directly to a product that I helped to get on the market. I could point directly to a patient population that I helped. And I think that's really impactful to know that your days have meanings and it's quantifiable in the fact that you can see how people are using your technology and how you impact everyday lives.
Hmm. Raha,
So some
go ahead.
oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. So I got too enthusiastic about my job. You can clearly tell I love what I do. But some challenges would be, I think a really great career is one that you can grow and that you face challenges. So challenges, although it can make your your daily work life a little harder, I think overall for an individual in their career, I think challenges are actually a great way to grow. One challenge that I face right now is that I have a history in healthcare. All my degrees, my BS is in biology, my master's is in biology, and so is my PhD. And right now I'm working in the aerospace field. So the challenge is to get up to speed on a new technology in a new area and still be able to provide value to the organization. But I say it's a challenge, but it's also exciting because it's an opportunity to learn and grow. So many of the challenges that I face in my day are similar to that. Understanding new complex functions, new complex technologies, and working your way through it.
As far as changing positions within a company, as far as going into an entirely different sector like you have now, uh, uh, how did you go about weighing that process as far as whether to stay in healthcare or to move into something completely different now with aerospace?
That is a really good question, and I have to admit I probably lost about 2 months of sleep over answering this very question. I love healthcare. I have a grinding passion for healthcare. It's something that is near and dear to my heart, and doing healthcare research is something that I've loved doing. So when I made that change, it wasn't because I was unhappy. I really took a look at career growth at 3M, and I had to make a decision. Did I want to be a biologist as my career, or did I want to be a 3Mer? And this was a conversation I had with my mentors here at 3M. I went back and spoke to my graduate advisor for my PhD program, my husband, my family. And the truth is that I think that the environment of which you work in and who you work with is very important as far as being happy. And I think this is a topic that a lot of times when we're in school, it's not something that's discussed. A lot of times we just talk about our degree and what we'll actually do. But happiness really has many pillars, and your environment is a huge part of that. I'm very happy at 3M, and 3M is a large company, and healthcare is a portion of that. Of the roughly $32 billion that 3M brings in every year, healthcare is roughly maybe $7 billion of that. But there's a large amount of work and technology that's done outside of healthcare. So when that opportunity came up, I said I would like to get to know the broader 3M. I'd like to grow as a scientist, as a person, as a career woman. And so I took a leap of faith and I took a bet on 3M. And so far it's working out, but I've really only been in this position going on 2 months. So we can talk again in a year, but I anticipate it going well.
Well, yeah, and I would welcome that opportunity. And I think you bring up a great point as far as both the value of having internal mentors within your organization to be able to bounce career path ideas off of and get some counsel as well. Somewhat in that same vein, What should others focus on who maybe are in your fields or moving on through the fields of study that you were in? What should others focus on to be successful?
When I think when you're looking at your career, people should really stick with what they're passionate about. What I've found is that no matter what you do, people and companies and institutions, they hire people. They hire people that they want to work with. They hire people who are smart and who are passionate. So if you can work in an area where you can generate a lot of energy and you can be excited, people will be drawn to you. So if you get your degree, say in engineering, you get hired in a company doing engineering, you do well at that job, your company will recognize that and allow you to have other opportunities. So follow your passions, do well at your job, put your best foot forward at all times, and doors will open up that you never imagined, and you'll end up places and have opportunities that you never saw coming your way, but you'll have that chance to work in different areas.
Mhm. Well said. You have a unique perspective from the University of Minnesota as far as both having been a undergraduate, graduate, and PhD student here. Whether it's at one stage of time of your academic life, or maybe it changed between those different stages. But what's if you could go back now and talk to yourself as a student, what's a piece of career advice that you would give yourself?
The University of Minnesota was wonderful. I enjoyed all my experiences there, and I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to have my education all the way through. I think the University of Minnesota is full of rich resources in their faculty. As an undergraduate, I think I didn't quite appreciate that the professors that you have are world-renowned in their field. They are famous. And I think a lot of times as undergraduates, at least I can speak for myself, I focused on that individual course, learning the content, and getting the grade. And I think it is an untapped resources, especially for the undergraduates at the University of Minnesota, to really get to know their professors, understand the research, understand their field of expertise, and leverage it, because it's a resource that you have at a Big Ten institution that you wouldn't necessarily have at a smaller liberal arts school, and people should take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. And I realize this next question kind of repeats what we were talking about, but drilling down, you've talked about some of those key faculty members that influenced you and helped you along the way. Is there any particular coursework that you did that stood out as far as being transformative from your time studying here?
Absolutely, yes. I can actually point to one course in particular. It was directed research in the laboratory. You can, at the University of Minnesota, as a science student, a STEM student, and I believe it's in most STEM fields, I know for sure chemistry and biology, you can do research in a laboratory and get credit for it. I started doing research my junior year in the laboratory of Dr. David Largaspada. He does transposon research looking at candidate cancer genes to develop targeted therapeutics. And I started doing research just as a way to check a box to graduate. And when I started in the laboratory, I loved it. I loved working on the science. I felt engaged. I felt challenged. And so I continued to work there. And David Largaspada was actually my master's advisor as well as my PhD advisor. And it was an opportunity that I fell into due to the amazing curriculum set up and the opportunities set up by the University of Minnesota's undergraduate program. I'm not sure I would have pursued a PhD if it wasn't for the mentorship and the leadership of Dr. David Largaspada. I wouldn't have understood how much I loved laboratory work had I not been given that opportunity to do real-life research. It wasn't an exercise just to fill out a worksheet. I was doing research, and I got a second authorship on a science publication from that research, which is a top-tier publication. So I was afforded amazing opportunities from the directed research program at the University of Minnesota. So I can directly point to the reason why I entered science and went to the level that I did.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful point. I'm always really amazed by the stories that I hear from alumni about really the transformative effect that faculty have upon students in that way. So that's really wonderful to hear. Outside of the classroom, any final memories as far as campus life during your time here? Any favorite things that you really like to do, whether as an undergrad or grad student here at the University of Minnesota?
As an undergraduate, I have very fond memories of living on campus in the dormitories. I lived in Territorial Hall in the Superblock, and starting my freshman year, surrounded by other freshmen that were eager and excited about the opportunity to be out school, to be at college, that was really great. I developed relationships living on campus in the dormitory that I still have today. And as well as I have a lot of fond experiences from graduate school that you're afforded by being a part of the Big Ten institution with the grants that we receive as a laboratory and the exposure that you get to other institutions, other technology, and you understand really what a strong player the University of Minnesota is in a variety of fields. So overall, I mean, I had many good experiences and am really proud to be a Minnesota alum.
Raha, thank you so much for your time today. And I just have to say that having the pleasure of getting to know other alumni also at 3M, that there is such a great alumni network out there representing science and engineering to law to the business out at 3M. I think as far as 3M goes, it's probably the #2 employer of University of Minnesota alumni. So there's a great presence, and it's just been wonderful to hear about all that you've accomplished there, and wish you nothing but the best in the coming years.
Thank you so much, John, for having me. The University of Minnesota was an incredible launching pad to even be able to have the opportunity to have my career at 3M, so I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Raha. And I hope for those listening that you've enjoyed this alumni career profile. We hope it's a vehicle where both students and alumni can learn about some of the career pathways and career advice from some of our top alumni. And if you'd like to learn more about how to stay connected to the University of Minnesota and its 455,000 alumni worldwide, please be sure to visit us at minnesotaalumni.org.